Okay, I'm just gonna go back to sharing my screen. Hi, meeting. Right. So once again, a big welcome to everyone and a quick run through the agenda. I will start by a brief introduction of Sterling Tech Solutions because we have put this webinar together, and I'll give you a little backstory that triggered this. And then we'll have a brief overview of the global talent visa route. Most of it will be covered anyway by Barrister Onwama. I hope I've not murdered your name, Chimeze. And then we will have a testimonial from a successful applicant who offered to share her story, her process, and you would also have a walkthrough the tracker that she used to gather her information and evidence and all of those requirements that you need to put in place in order for you to apply. And then we will have final takeaways. We'll have Q&A so you can ask your questions based on what we have covered today. And we will also just sort of signpost you back to Sterling Tech. So some of the skills development programs that we offer, things that you can explore if you are in that category of people who do not have the relevant skills, but you want to pick those up, and then we'll talk about that. That's pretty much how the agenda will run for today. So, who am I? Veronica Dupe Yusuf. I'm director and founder of Sterling Tech Solutions Limited. I think most of you would know me. You would have encountered me at one point or the other. And of course, you know that I'm dedicated to helping career professionals who are ready to steer their careers into the tech industry. I have over 10 years experience working with individuals, clients who are seeking that transition. I understand the intricacies of shifting into these tech roles because I have gone through that myself. And so I know the highs and the lows and the pitfalls, which I can support with. And we run different skills development programs within Sterling Tech, some of which we will highlight at some point today. And of course, I've got a master's in human resource management, which I came into the UK to do a good few years ago. I have been in the UK, lived in the UK nearly 20 years, so I can tell you the highs and lows of, kind of integrating into corporate UK. Why have we decided to, put this together? Now, this came from discussions being had in one of these WhatsApp groups that most of us are part of. And again, also just from, experiences that I hear about, especially with regards to the skilled worker visa, you going by the healthcare route, and very unpleasant stories, which I'm sure most of you already know about. Just because people are looking for better quality of life and they want to kind of, migrate into the UK and all the other parts of the world. And somehow it feels like they're exploited. And for me, that is really not very pleasant. And so I started, putting information out just to say that there are other routes that you can explore if you're looking to settle in any of these countries, i.e. the UK. Hence the reason for the Global Talent Visa information a webinar, which you are part of today, just to say, you know what, looking for COS and looking for, shifts that do not really exist can be painful. And a lot of people are having to sell stuff, just to be able to afford what they're being billed, which is not very fair. So there are other routes which are even, shorter and have some very good benefits, and hence the reason why I reached out to a friend and someone who is an expert and has delivered this similar session when we were last in a fair in Lagos. And so I reached out. So I'm really grateful to him that though it was very short notice, he offered to come on. He's a legal practitioner, and so he knows the ins and outs of what is required. So he will be coming on shortly. So if it benefits, that I've just picked up, and then there's so much which you will hear about, A lot of people who are looking to settle, maybe in the UK, the settlement eligibility, of course, is somewhat shorter if you were to compare with maybe the healthcare sector. So with the global talent visa, of course, you know that you can, that cut that journey short somewhat. And there are no restrictions on changing employers. Again, that's a a plus if you were to compare again with a route like the healthcare route of the skilled workers visa. And of course, that means it gives you greater professional freedom. And so you can move from one employer to the other without being restricted. And again, a lot of people, what is really painful is the fact that people move down and they're not able to bring their dependents and family members because of the changing and the recent updates within the UK and all of that. So again, that is something to also look at. And again, I understand that you can switch from the skilled worker to the global talent visa route. Most of it we will discuss today. So these are just a few benefits. And I will stop sharing this screen while I hand over to the our experts in the room. Hi, Chimeze, are you here? I will start sharing your slide. Just let me know that you are here. I thought I saw you join. Okay, you're here. But can you talk? I'm just going to share your slides shortly. We can't hear you in case you're talking. I can only see you type in the chat. So I'm just going to share his slides. Slideshow. Are you able to talk? Are you? We can't. I can't hear you. I don't know if everyone else can. Hello? I can't hear. Oh, you can hear him. Can you hear him? I can't. Ah, sorry. I apologize. That is my bad. Where are you? Yes, because we've had these sessions where people come in and yeah, sorry, I do apologize. So we had to mute everybody. Where is he? I think you can request to mute. I can't find you. Oh, there you are. Okay. Apologies.
Good afternoon. Good evening,
There you
everyone.
are. So
Yes.
sorry.
I was messaging you that I was
Okay.
talking, but I noticed I was still on mute.
Apologies. Okay, I will share your
I
screen.
think there's something wrong with my camera, so you won't be able to see my face.
Okay.
But
Can
there's
you
no
see your
issue.
slides?
Great, great. So how many of us are here? We are like about
22
20.
so far.
Okay. So I want to start out with how many people have actually tried using the UK the global talent visa route? If you've tried it, please just raise your hand. Okay. I guess no one has
Only
tried
only
that yet.
one part. I think there's just one hand, and she's the one that's going to share hers. But has anybody else tried?
Tried.
Anyone else?
Does anyone know about it? Has anyone heard of it before?
You can type in the chat.
Okay, so great. So let's start from where we are.
Mm.
So that means we have to look at it from the scratch. Okay, good. So I'm hearing some people have heard of it. That's beautiful. So, like, for now, we're going to discuss about the global talent visa is something that has is one update that that hasn't yet casted. So, for the Nigerians, you understand what I mean. For non-Nigerians, it means it's a it's a brand of it's an entry point. It's an entry venue. It's a way of entering into the UK, which is difficult when compared to other areas, but um, it's not it's difficult, intentionally made difficult so as to attract the best of the best. So from the beginning of time, if you look at the UK historically, they've always sought to poach in quotes the best of the best from anywhere they have colonized or anywhere they have entered into. So the global talent visa is designed to bring the best tech culture, the best tech minds, the best academic minds, the best cultural minds, and the best fashion mind, artistic and cultural minds into their economy so that they can increase productivity. You know, beforehand, people who used to come in, they will come in, they are looking for jobs. So they want people that come in and create jobs in the UK. So that's why they created the global talent visa. It's just to draw in, it's to attract, it's designed to incentivize and attract the top talent. So it applies not only to tech, it applies to, while we're going to limit ourselves to tech today, but global talent has many routes. And I would, if you go to the UK website, the government website, you see how many routes you can exploit within the global talent visa space. Now, the key features of the global talent visa. Because can you move to the next slide? Okay, great. So it's designed while we're limiting ourselves to the UK, to the IT space today, the tech space. There are other areas. Now it's designed for highly skilled people. It's for you have to show that you've done over and above what the ordinary person would have done in that space. You must show that you're like really, really good. Either you're really good or you show promise of being really, really good. It's not just for anybody. But with training and practice, you can reach there. You don't need an employer. It's assumed that you're going to employ yourself, you're going to fund yourself, you're coming to the UK to create jobs. So then and you yes, you have for you don't need any confirmation, you don't need any course, you don't need all those drama. You just need to show that you are someone that is capable of creating jobs. You can either you're bringing jobs into the UK, or you are likely to that it's likely that you're going to build businesses within the UK. So that's what they want you to do. They want you to show them that look, I'm someone that is adding value. I will add value to the UK. I'm not going to take value out of the UK. You know. So the first question we're going to ask, I want all of us to ask ourselves, ruminate. Now, what is your skill set? What is your current skill set? And how does it align with the UK's need for, you can see my question, for tech professionals. Now the UK has there's a massive gap. There's a massive gap in the UK. You know, since Brexit, a lot of the tech minds in the UK left. So they've started drive. There's a massive gap for tech talent. And if you can show capacity in that space, you'll be surprised. At a point, it was so easy that if you could prove that you had a very vibrant YouTube channel or TikTok channel, you could qualify for for exceptional promise within the global talent visa space. But now they've tightened the requirements a bit more, but it's still a very worthwhile route towards to enter the UK. Now, there are two kinds of applicants, two major types of applicants that are eligible. Either you're a technical applicant or you're a business applicant, right? So either you're tech. Look at the next slide. Great. So you can see. So they're like either you're a programmer. If you're in tech, I'm going to share something. I'll share something with you now. So the list of roles that are well that I'll share it in the chat box. The list of roles that are loved that UK is looking for. They want you to show the things that you can show them. Oh, bloody hell. Okay, so they are looking of these are the technical skills that they really, if you can show that you're strong in those spaces, if you can establish that you're strong, you can program, you're great, you're a great yeah, you can program basically. All these roles are programmer led roles. Either you're a programmer, you're a data analyst, a strong data analyst, or you are a UI UX designer. So front end, back end, engineering, computer engineering, and data analysis. Well, but the data analysis can work for some people, but you have to show that you've actually built a product. So it's not just only working in that role. You must show that you've worked in a company that develops products. If you're in, that's why if you're a programmer that works in a bank, you will enter, because that's why you see when you see technical applicants from non-technical organizations they can apply. If you're the best person, the best case would be if you're a technical applicant from a technical organization. So if I'm a programmer working in a technical organization, beautiful. If I can show I've worked in a tech company for the past 5 or 6 years, it's almost a smooth run. If you're a programmer and you're working in a non-programming, in a non-technical organization, a non-tech technology organization, or a tech-enabled organization, you can work. Now, if and on the other hand, you see, when I said a non-technical applicant, a business applicant, so if you're an investor in a tech company, if you can show that you've invested in several tech companies, you are eligible. If you've invested in companies that have reached a certain turnover, a certain value. So if you like in Nigeria now, so let me share a list of business skills that they like to see. Those are non-technical roles, but if you're a non-technical role in a technical company, that's what they want to see. They want to see that you have led growth in a technical company. So if you're a business manager in a tech company, wonderful, you would work. But now, if you're not technical and you don't work in a tech company, you have it's like more like a 50, it's like a 70-30 chance against you, not in your favor. So you can see, if you look under, you see that where I see technical analysts applicants must demonstrate that they know the latest technology. You can work with a tech stack. You can build a tech stack, or you can work with a tech stack. You must be able to prove and establish that to them. So that how do you do that? You must show a proof of work. Now, proof of work is you must show things you've built. You must show products you've built. You show products that you have worked on. So if you have a GitHub, where it really helps, if you have a GitHub profile, just keep on building. If you have a GitHub profile, build it. Show products you've built. Show things you've built from beginning to end. So if you have your code, show them that, look, this is code I developed by myself. This is code, even if you work collaboratively. If you're just starting out, do as many hackathons as you can. I would always advise hackathons are the best way to prove, to show, it shows a good, hackathons are a very good proof of work. You show that you can build a product. Working in startups, if you work in technical startups, is a good strength. Now, if you don't have technical skills, you have Dupe here. I will tell you, I will pull your ears and tell you, go and meet Dupe. At least I know a lot. I know Sterling Tech offers a lot of this tech. They offer trainings and work experience in all these tech spaces, in the tech skills, technical skills. So if you don't have it, go and meet Dupe. Let her show you. Let her show you road. For the Nigerians, go and learn the ropes from Dupe. Now, for business people, you must prove that you have invested heavily. You must show you've invested at least 25 million, at least companies worth over 25 million. So you could see that's when you say 25 million pounds, if you invested in companies that have over 25 million pounds, that's about you must have built in Nigerian terms a company of about 500 million naira on average. You must have worked, either you worked there or you invested in it. Either you led the growth there or you invested in it, or you worked in maybe a bank, all these digital banks, like all these alerts, where all these banks, all these companies that are really, really digital led, tech led. So if you can show that you've worked in those spaces and you've actually showed that you've productively you've added value in those spaces, then you're a prime candidate for GT, for global talent. Now, but as much as possible, they would always want you to have a certain degree of, either if you don't have the knowledge, if you don't have the tech skill, you must have tech knowledge, the latest tech knowledge. You must be able to show that your companies you've built have won, they've won, you must show that they've won awards. You must show that they've been recognized. So if you have something like a company like MoneyPoint, for instance, if you are a non-technical founder in a company like MoneyPoint, which has really grown in valuation over the years, you can qualify for global talent, even though you're not a programmer. So you don't need to be a programmer to succeed, successfully apply to global talent. Now there are two criteria. There are two categories: exceptional talent, exceptional promise. So you have to look at either of them. Which one do you fit into? Now, even if you don't fit into either one now, with a targeted work plan, if you start consciously and effectively developing yourself, it's something you can actually, if you start building your portfolio. Exceptional talent means that you are a leader. You've done things, you've shown working, you've been recognized, you've been awarded. Something as simple as those YouTube plaques are signs of recognition. If you receive like the gold YouTube plaque or the platinum YouTube plaque, is a sign of recognition. So all those signs of recognition, if you've been featured in newspapers, don't just, if you go for events. Now, at this point, if you've been going for events and been a fly on the wall, if you've been a fly on the wall in events, stop.
Yeah.
Network aggressively.
Mm-hmm.
Network aggressively. Take pictures. Let people see you
Mm-hmm.
where it matters.
Yeah.
Let them, when they are taking pictures with people, try and get yourself, and then you have to be your own publicist. I always tell everyone, be your own publicist. Nobody owes you publicity. You have to be your own publicist. Keep talking, because they look at your social media. A lot of people I tell people that they go to social media and they give the wrong picture of themselves. If you go on social media, show your capacity. If you've had speaking engagements, talk about your speaking engagements. If you have attended conferences, take pictures at those conferences, put them up on your social media. Show them that you're developing yourself. Show what you have been doing. Show that you're working on yourself. Show that you're building your portfolio, and always build your portfolio. Global talent is not for the. Unfortunately, the sad part of this global talent application is a lot of people that are very, very highly qualified for the visa do not have the proof of work. They do not have the visible proof of work that can get them into exceptional talent. They are qualified for exceptional talent, but most times they just get exceptional promise. So what you need to do is always show they will reward global talent rewards those who are the most recognized within the space. Sometimes it's not the most intelligent person is not who is recognized. Is the biggest noisemaker. So start being your own noisemaker. For the next, if you can give yourself a 3 to 5 year timeline, start building your profile aggressively. You start building your profile, push hard. If you push hard, if you make a post, push it as far as possible. Use Facebook ads, use the ad tools available. Try and get virality. Once you can achieve virality, then you're on the road towards eligibility for global talent. Next slide, please. Now, endorsing bodies for global talent. Tech Nation although I hear they are planning to change it to another organization, they're trying to choose a new endorsing body apart from technician. But right now, as of January 22nd, technician is still the primary endorsing body for digital technology professionals. So they are the ones that will issue a letter of an endorsement letter, because that the endorsement letter. So the process is divided into two. The first stage is getting your endorsement letter. Then the second stage is getting your applying for your visa. So the endorsement letter is the first thing you need to get for global talent, and that requires you. You must show that you are good at. For who understand what Gbera means in the Nigerians, who understand what Gbera means.
We don't do this man.
You must have blown. Oh. If not, you must have shown that you are blown somehow. You must have Gbera. You must be big. You must show that you are big, even if you are like Portable now. Portable if you no get money, he might not have any kobo. Portable might not have money, but the amount of noise that man makes, everybody will think he's a big star in Nigeria. That's the kind. You must be like Portable. You must make noise like Portable. If you don't make noise like Portable, global talent might not be for you. So you will make a lot of noise about yourself, but not clownish noise. You must show competence in your space, expertise in your space. Now, technicians, you must familiarize. I would encourage you, if you're going to tech, go and familiarize yourself with every word on technicians website. You must master that process. If you master it, you have your chances of successfully applying for global talent goes up substantially. So I would that's what I would say. What specific achievements do you have that technician will recognize? So what specific achievements make you stand out to an endorsing body? Have you been awarded? Can you show one thing that a proof of work? If you can show you've been providing services for those who are into virtual work, if you can show you've provided services to companies abroad on a consistent basis, from if you're working in Nigeria and you want to provide services to companies abroad, and you can show that you've done so on a consistent basis, it's a good opportunity. It's a good proof of work. If you show that you are a software developer in Nigeria, like someone like, let's assume you built a tool like Truecaller. Truecaller was built in Jos. Now, in a person in Jos built Truecaller and is taking all over the world. Beautiful. If you can show that you have an app, you built an app that has like 20 or 30 million downloads. Good proof of work. Those are the kind of things you can do. So build products. I always tell anybody, build products. Build tech products or services, or highly tech-enabled products or services. But I would suggest build technological products and services. Now, I would say, what are specialties that don't work? If you're a junior investor, the next slide, please. So if we look at this slide, it tells you about the unsuitable specialty. Some people have come to me and said, "Oh, I work." A lot of people have come to me and say, "Oh, we work in data analysis, or we work in this company. We are project managers. We have technical backgrounds, but we don't work in a technical role or in a technical company." It's usually very difficult. We have to now start building their work plan. We have to start building their work profile before we actually push them in. So always, if you have a technical background but you're working in non-technical space, make it a point of duty to try and build technical products in your spare time. If you can build websites, if you can build, just keep building. Keep doing things that will let people know that your tech skills are still sharp and you're still updated, in your spare time. If you're a junior investor, so if you work in a hedge fund or a VC or a private equity company that invests in tech companies, but you are not at the senior level. You're not like a general man, a manager or above, or a partner. Most times it's partners that they look at. Partners, lead analysts, senior analysts. Those are what they look at. Um, so if you a pure corporate role, even if you're just a pure corporate role, just manage. If you're a manager, but you're not in the growth space, so you might manage 1,000 people, but you're not growing the organization, a tech organization. It's very hard. If you're not growing, even if you're managing thousands of people in the bank, you are not eligible. But if you manage 50 people or 30 people in the technology department of the bank or the ICT department of the bank, you will become eligible. So the GM of the bank might not be eligible, but the tech lead within the same bank under him will be eligible for the text that's under the tech route. Now, next slide, please. Now, how do you prepare your week? Can you all see my slides? Please raise your hand if you see my slides.
I can.
Good. Yeah, a lot of people can see. So, and if you have any questions, please feel free. You can share them in the chat section, and we'll take them
I
after
wanted
the.
to, I think maybe just in case some people are thinking along this lines. So how you've been mentioning the fact that people should build products, they should build tech products. So it feels like, okay, if you're not maybe a full stack developer, you can't actually build those products on your own, you may not be eligible. So the question is, if you are part of, a company that builds or has built, can you not be eligible? Even though, so maybe you are a lead analyst or tech lead within that tech organization, startup, or arm of the business. I mean, will you not be eligible? So you are,
No, you will be eligible. So that's why you see in that place where in slide 2 where I said typical applicants, I
yes.
said non-technical applicants from technical organizations. If you work in a tech company,
Mm,
you will be eligible.
okay.
If you're
Okay,
not
I
technical,
just
but
wanted to
yeah,
emphasize that even if you don't have GitHub, you don't have any of this, but you are in a tech company or you've worked within a tech arm or something to build a product. So you've been a part of a product team, for example, a product development team, then you should be able to, and then of course you have evidence to show, then I guess that means that you're fine, is what I wanted to bring up.
yeah,
Yeah.
the person must show working.
Yes, show the
Unfortunately, it's
evidence.
not global talent is not for people that are fat around. It's not for people that are lazy.
Yeah,
It's not for people that don't add value. You will show that you've added serious value to the organization.
yeah,
You must show that your activities have directly led to the growth of the organization.
yeah. And
Yeah.
we will
So
show some evidence anyway when the person who's going to share, uh we have a template, to give an idea of what this evidence really mean or could comprise of. So
yeah.
just to point that out. Thank you. Okay, please carry
All
on.
right. Let's push on. So now we go on to the preparing your endorsement application. Because this is the most important part of your application. You must build, you need letters of recommendation. This is where many of us used to fumble. This is where many Nigerians fumble. Many of us have people, but we don't build relationships. A lot of people, you have a big uncle, a lot of people just go, they ask uncle, is the kid, instead of sending your account numbers to your uncles, build relationships. Start building relationship to people with people in the space, recognized experts. So if you have now normally they say they want three experts. Two, the best proportion will be having two in the UK, one in Nigeria. Two in, or you may have one in the UK, one in the US, one in Nigeria. You're supposed to have at least one within Nigeria. If you have three in the UK that say, guy, this guy is a good guy, fantastic. You'll be taken very, very seriously. But you should have at least three. That's three people that have worked in serious businesses. So that means you must have maintained relation. This kind of people are not people that will just give out endorsements for nothing. You must have shown that you've worked with them. They must have either mentored you. So try and build good relationships. Attend events, build contacts with some of these people, add value to them, start connecting, build your connections, build a professional network. Some of these guys are on LinkedIn. That's why I say always try and make sure that you are adding value on your social media. It's very, very important. Social media has reduced connections. Before it used to be 6 degrees of separation. We used to be 6 degrees of separation from every other person. Now we are like 2 or 3 degrees of separation from most other people in the world. So utilize your social media reach, add value to whoever you can add value to. And your portfolio of work, you must show that you've done projects. You've shown how you contributed to successes of organizations where you've worked, or even if you've not worked with them, where you've worked with and worked for. And awards, I cannot underestimate the power of awards. I cannot underestimate the power of awards. When you are awarded, awards and media recognition normally go hand in hand. So if you are awarded, please publish it. If you can get, anywhere you have media recognition, don't just take it for granted. Cut out that newspaper and save it. If it's a web page, download it and save it. Those things really, really matter. When you can show that, oh, I've worked with this organization, and if the reference letter. So let's assume I work with a fintech, a financial technology company, and I was a part of the team at the product launch. Some people will be at the background hiding their face, while others are in the front taking pictures. Now, who will be recognized? Is it the person in the background or the one in the pictures? It's usually the one in the pictures. So always try and get your face where other when the pic- always try and get yourself seen when pictures are being taken. Those things really matter when you're applying for projects, when you're making applications for global talent. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the question I'm going to ask you. You see, the question I'm asking is your body of work strong enough to gain endorsements, or do you need to work on your portfolio? Now, if your body of work is strong enough, when you submit, it normally takes about 8 weeks, or if you're using fast track, within 3 weeks, your application normally it can be 3 weeks or less. If your body of work is good enough, they're going to investigate you, they're going to run a background check on you. They'll check you, they'll look at you, make sure that you're okay, make sure that you have a good record, you don't have any criminal records. They'll do all those checks on you. Now, you can see the application fee. I don't know whether it has changed. It used to be £456. I don't know whether it has changed this year. Well, you file it through you apply for your endorsement through the UK government portal. You have your document tracker, you have your application tracker and your document tracker. You see the process, and once you get it, if you succeed, you get they give you an endorsement letter. If it fails, they'll give you a pro forma explaining what happened. They'll tell you, oh, this is what happened, this is why you did not succeed, this is what happened to you, this is what you did not have, this is what you could have done better. So when that happens, don't get angry. If you can work on it immediately, and resubmit. If not, I think most times work on whatever they've asked you to work on. You can apply as many times as possible because that performer is important. Normally, the first time, I think they won't charge you again if you respond. If the issues are surface level, there are things that you can respond to quickly, and then you have a right of appeal. You can actually appeal if they make a wrong decision. You can appeal. Um, but if your appeal does not work, you can still refile. You can apply 10 times without prejudice. They don't punish you if you fail the last time. You can apply. It's your money that's just going to waste. It's your money that's going, but you can still apply as many times as necessary to get if there's as many times as necessary to get you the global talent visa. And but it's always important to show your proof of work. Now, the next slide. Now, the next slide, post endorsement. Once you get your endorsement letter, then in Igbo we say, no fair, you're inside sweet soup. You're now swimming in a sweet soup. So all you just need to do is just submit your visa application. You fill the normal visa form. The fees are there. Now you must show that you have money. As I said, this global talent is not for people that, if you're a global talent, now sometimes let me dial back a bit. You might not succeed in global talent, as an exceptional talent. You might not prove that you're exceptional talent. If your application is not strong enough to give you special exceptional talent, they might say, "Oh, you don't have exceptional talent," but they will give you exceptional promise. You show promise, we'll give you promise. Sometimes you might apply for promise. They will say, "Oh no, from what we see, you get talent. You're good." So sometimes don't so those that's one thing you have to keep your mind on. Now the immigration health surcharge, they expect that you are rich enough to take care of yourself. Apart from your visa fee, you pay the immigration health surcharge, that's £1,030. You're not going to come and live on their system, you're not going to use the NHS. You use the NHS, but you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay your own health insurance. Now, you attend your biometric appointment, and if you succeed, they grant you your visa. Now you must have your proof of funds. Proof of funds is very, very highly required in global talents. Though a lot of people assume that because it's global, because you've shown that you have exceptional talents, you don't have to show proof of funds. It's a bloody lie. You must show that you can sustain yourself at least 2 years in the UK, at least 1 year in the UK without recourse to public funds. You must show that you can take care of yourself, and the beautiful thing about global talents is you can take along your dependents. It allows you to carry your dependents, so you must show you can take care of yourself and your dependents for the period of 1 year. So on average, they expect you to show that you have it used to be 12,000 pounds. Now it's about 24,000 pounds. The last time I checked, you should show that you have about 24 to 26,000 pounds. So it's always important. You must be financially ready. You must be
Sorry,
financially ready.
a quick one on
Yeah.
that note. So I know there are a lot of people here who are already in the UK.
Okay.
Maybe you're going to cover that, but they're in the UK and want to switch. So in this case now, what you're saying may not apply, so attending appointments in Nigeria, Abuja, and all of that, but they're here, and probably on the skilled worker visa via the healthcare route and all the likes, but want to switch over to global talent visa. Can you talk about that? Because I think majority of the people here are already in the UK, but they want to remove themselves from this whole COS and no COS palaver and not having
Okay.
shifts and
If
stuff.
they're already in the US, if it's
Yeah.
already in the UK,
Hmm.
if you're already in the UK, then it's a bit your stress is significantly reduced. Significantly. Because you have a track record in the UK showing that you're able to take care of yourself. If you must have had work experience. You're already paying your NI. and the national insurance payment. So it makes your life a bit easier. If you're applying from within the UK, you're trying to change your status, so you just need to
Yeah.
apply to the Home Office. Once you have an endorsement letter, you will probably just, if you apply to the Home Office for change, they might ask you to apply from your home country. They
Not anymore, I
might,
don't think. Not
yeah,
anymore. You can
not
switch.
anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Before they used to say you must go back to your home country and apply from your home country, but now if they allow you switch, it's beautiful. There were changes last year and early into this year. There are changes from December, November till early this year. So once you have proof of, you still have to show that you once you can show, like what I noticed a lot of people did once they went from to the health route, when they went to the care route, they went there and started building a tech backbone. Unfortunately, a lot of people went into data analysis. So data analysis is not bad, but you must show that you can build data analytical tools.
Mhm.
If you're going, you don't just say, "Oh, I did a data analytics course." It doesn't give you anything. You must show that you can build products. So if
Okay.
you're building products, or you can build channels, you can build websites, channels, blogs. They work. Those things are, high. Once you can show that there is traction figures, those figures matter a lot. And then I would suggest, if you are in the UK, try and set up a small business in the UK. Try and register even if it's sole proprietorship, show them that you started building a business in the UK. If you can, if your status allows you to do so, try and build a small tech business in the UK. It does help. Those things help. And UK has a lot of they have a lot of accelerators going on. So attendance, another way I always tell people, if you can join an accelerator, it does help a lot. Accelerators are proof of value. It shows that you have crossed a minimum threshold. If you join an accelerator, a VC, if you're VC funded, if you're VC funded, you have entered an accelerator, you want a grant. Those things are really, really good. So apply for as many grants as you can, build your pitching skills, apply for as many grants. There are grants for business, and especially the females, there are a lot of there are a lot of programs that target women-led businesses. So try and tap into some of those programs. I remember when I lived in the UK, most universities used to have accelerators and incubators. So try and join one or two. Build your capacity inside in those spaces. So that's where you also it also helps you with networking. Um, Incubators, accelerators are the best. I think hands down they are some of the best ways of building your portfolio of work. Hackathons too. Hackathons, incubators, and accelerators. They are very, very good ways of building your capacity and building your proof of work. Now, final considerations. Well, I would say highlight your contributions to the Nigerian and UK or wherever's tech ecosystem. You can show, once you can show you have contributed to the growth of the ecosystem, you will be loved in that space. They will look at you differently. And yeah, innovation, show you've done new things. Don't go and do what somebody else has done. Don't go and don't go and don't go and reinvent the wheel. Try and innovate on. If you see products, I also tell people, if you have invented anything, go and get a patent. Get a patent on it. It is very important. Anything you invent, get a patent, because patents really help you build your proof of work. If I have like 5 or 6 patents registered, it tells people that okay, this guy is an innovator. I forgot to talk about that. Patents, if you have patents, if you can show those are proof, a patent is a proof of work, it's a very strong proof of work. If you have patents in the UK, you have patents in Nigeria, they're very good proofs of work. What else? What else? Any questions?
Yes, okay, there's a hand raised and we can look in the chat as well. But Olajuwon, go ahead before we invite the testimonial. Olajuwon, please go ahead. Do I need to unmute you? Looks like, hold on. Let me stop sharing so I can see. Olajuwon. Sorry, we have to do this just to maintain. Olajuwon. See you. Can you? Oh, there you are. Sorry. I can see your hand raised, but I cannot find you. Can you request to unmute? Let me see if I'll get that. Okay. Sorry about this. Oh, there you go. Okay. Unmute. Yeah. Go ahead. I think you can talk now.
Okay. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Mr. I can't remember. I think Chi.
Amazing.
Yes. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you. So my question is that all these processes, I mean these steps, are you going to guide us through it, or well, we just have to follow the step-by-step procedure on ourselves, and then because I'm asking this question just in case we have any difficulties along the line in processing it.
I will. Can I
So,
talk about that quickly? So yes, but Mr. Chimeze will do that for a fee. So it's not a free. This is just for information. So anybody who wants guidance, who is ready, who feels like they have met most of, all that the requirements that have been mentioned. Definitely, we will provide the details for you to be able to go ahead to reach out to him. But he runs a professional services called company called Milton and Cross, and they will offer the service, but it's a paid service. This is just a free information, but it's a paid service. If you are ready and you want to go ahead with the application and you want someone to kind of help you with it, yes, he will do that. On the other hand, there is someone who's going to come on and will share her own experience of how she went on. I think she did it by herself. If you feel like, well, I can't afford Mr. Chimeze's fee and you want to explore it, she's going to come and share as well, share with you. We have a document tracker that she has kindly provided as a template. So that's something that you can also look at. And then the other side is if you don't have the skills and you want to begin to develop the skills, that's where selling tech solutions come in, and we will give you details, to book a call with us, and we can take it from there. I hope that answers your question. I think Olajuwon, I have unmuted you, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Is it Chimizi? Right.
Yeah.
So I have three questions, right? And one is about um you spoke about an applicant always like consistently posting online. So what if the applicant has been in tech for like let's say 5 years or more than 5 years, but doesn't have like a consistent presence online, right? Um, can you still apply? And does that even give more credit for the application? And the second question, you spoke about recognition, right? Um, if I want to ask, does earning a certificate from a course apply fall under that category of recognition, and also writing articles online, maybe like Medium or LinkedIn? Does someone stand a chance to apply? And the third one is you spoke about proof of funds. I would say I'm a little aware about that, that you need to show how long the money can sustain you for, or how long you've had it in your account. So I want to ask, for this purpose, how long does um, an applicant need to show for, or how long does an applicant need to show for when it comes to proof of funds? So yeah, thank you.
Hi, Chimeza, do you want to? I think he had like 3 questions. I don't know if you got all of them. Can you hear us, or do I need to unmute you again? I hope not. Oh, really? Why does he do that? Okay, I'm going to unmute. Excuse me. Let's go to unmute. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so no, I muted myself because I didn't want to
Okay.
interfere with I didn't want environmental noise to come in.
Okay.
So, Joanne, you had 3 questions. One was on proof of work, one was on proof of funds. What was the third one? A recognition, Abby?
Yeah, recognition like awards. Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of proof of work,
Mhm.
let me start from for proof of funds. Generally, the UK wants to see, you're expected to have at least £2,000 for a single man, a single person. You expect to have at least £2,000 per month,
Okay.
£1,000, 1,500 per month. Then a married person, it scales up with the amount of family you have.
Mhm.
But generally, they look more at the flow. How is money coming in and out of your account over that period?
Okay.
If you can show that money is coming in and out, and you at the end, if they are seeing that maybe you have 15 million in your balance, and they've been seeing like 100, they see like there's about 100 million of flow through your account, and you still have like 15 or 16 million. Okay, they know that
Mhm.
good, this person is doing business. But if you just go and
Okay.
keep 15 million in account for 6 months, they look for about 3 to 6 months. Now, if they see like that, if they see that you just kept 15 million for a long time, they don't trust that. They feel maybe you just went to collect money from someone. They want to see that money is flowing through your account. They want to see that your account is busy. So the flow is more important than the amount that's inside. They want you to have a source of income. They want to see that either you are paying salary or you are receiving salary. They want to see that number one. I always encourage people to read the immigration rules. The UK has their immigration rules. They want to see that you have money coming in regularly, either from a business or from a job. Don't see that. So those things are what they want to see. If you have an asset that you sold, you must have proof that, oh, I had this asset that I sold, or I have an asset that's generating income for me. So it's not that hard. It's just a matter of planning and structuring your finances very well.
Okay.
That's for proof of funds. So generally, you just want to see that you have like 1,500 to £2,000 every month, which is about how much you need to survive in the UK. Now, for proof of work, I say social media because um, I saw that
I wanted to read something that's in the chat. So and that will segue into the next and final segment, if you like. Somebody said she didn't post, she doesn't have social media and all of that. So again, we're going to bring her on. She has, so I mean, what Chimeze has said is like the textbook standard, things that you need to think about. However, there are, there are other, I think they might make some exceptions if you have substantial evidence, of with regards to your background and things that you've done, which she's going to share with us shortly. But I think where Chimeze was coming from is the fact that these days it's about your online presence. It's about how much is out there about you that they can go and search and believe that what you're claiming is true and things like that. But that doesn't mean that that's the only way that you can demonstrate what you're showcasing in terms of the talent that you have and all of that. So I think it's just one way,
I
but
agree. I saw Suliat's comments. It
yeah,
is true. That's why I said GitHub. If you
yeah,
have a GitHub body of work, if you can show that you've worked with like now, if I can show that I was part of the team, if I get a letter from the MD of or the ICT lead in Czech in Wema
yeah,
Bank that says this person was part of the team that built
yes,
this website, this
yeah,
portal, or this app.
mhm,
Yes, I have a friend who how I got to know about this global talent was through a friend who they just built what did they use to get global talent? They built a router. They invented a router that can be plugged into the wall. So instead of it works as a router and a repeater. So that was what give them that based on that patent they got patented in Nigeria and the UK. So they were based on that, they were able to establish global talent, and they also got recommendations from NITDA, the NITDA, and some other strategic organizations and strategic parties with people within the tech ecosystem. That was in the early days when it was much easier. So
yeah,
the main thing is to show that you have a body of work. A lot of people don't have a coordinated
mhm,
body of work. That is where we have a lot of problems. I find a lot of problems.
yeah,
People have scattered bodies of work.
yeah,
You can't really say, oh, I'm a data analyst, but did I work? What did I work? What have you built? What have you worked on? What can you show that you have achieved? And somebody else can verify that, yes, this person achieved it. Those are what you want to know. They want to see.
okay,
Not necessarily. Social media helps when you don't have much.
yeah,
It helps to cover up any gaps when you don't have much.
yeah,
When they see that, oh, this person is so, they call this guy calls it Shashe now. This Slaughter Wave guy, Inya
okay,
Boyeji,
yeah,
he
yeah.
calls them entrepreneurship because he's Shashe.
Yeah.
A lot of
Okay.
this thing is
Because of
Shashe.
time, the person who needs to come on
Yes.
is already hinting me that
Yes, it's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, sorry to cut you. Because she
Let's
has to
fire
cut
on.
off. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's clear that, it's either this or that. So
Yeah.
it's not just
It's not
social
cast in
media.
stone.
It's not casting
It's
stone.
not
Okay,
cast
so
in
with
stone.
with that, I would like to invite yeah, you can ask your question later, but we need to bring on our next speaker because this should be ending in about 20 something minutes. Um, okay, so yes, I can. Oh, I didn't know you wanted to share your screen. That's when I have good video. So I'm going to invite Sulia, who I recently met and is on our waiting list to join the Sterling Tech community. But we were talking about this, and she kindly agreed to share her own experience. She's a tech talent from Nigeria, and she came into the UK via the Global Talent Visa route. She has her tracker, which we will be sharing so that it can guide you when you're trying to. Let me just make you so you can share. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm unmuted and I think I can. Can you guys see my
Yes, you
screen?
can. So
Okay.
over to you,
Okay.
Celia. There
Hi,
you go.
everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak. And I think Chimeze pretty much said it all. But I think before I actually even start by sharing my tracker, I want everyone, like the first time I heard about global talent, it was my mentor that told me, and he kind of told me everything that Chimeze said. And I was like, oh, I'm not a global talent. Like I was intimidated. Like I saw like just the volume of work and I know what he had accomplished and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. But he's like, you know what, calm down. Actually take a look at it and see if you can do this. So I went onto this website. I hopefully you can see this, the Tech Nation's website. And I studied it like Chimeza said, like I studied it like it was like, an exam. Okay. And then I joined this next one, which is like an alum forum. It's like a chat group. And people start to like kind of talk about like their examples and what they did. And I think that kind of gave me confidence. Okay. So I'll walk you through how I came to the UK and then like a little bit about my background and I'll show you my evidence. So I was already in the UK. I did come in on a version of a skilled visa. It's slightly different because I was working for a company in Nigeria that wanted to open up a branch in the UK and they brought me here. My background is definitely tech. So my background, I study computer science and math. So I have bachelor's and master's in that field. Um, I decided after I saw the evidence that I was nervous, but I was like, okay, I think I can do this. I essentially applied for the exceptional talent. So this was 2022. I had studied this this website, like my life depended on it. And then I also went onto this forum and I'm like watching, and there are people like posting daily. I don't know if this thing is still this form, I'll send all this in the chat group. I don't know if it's still as active as it was in 2022, but I was studying it like no man's business. So again, in addition to my friend mentor sharing with me their own tracker and their own evidence, I said, as much as I can put my documents together, I wanted someone that was qualified and has done it for other people kind of support me. So I did get a solicitor. I had a solicitor kind of support me through this whole process as well. So I'm going to show you now like some of my tracker of my documents and it kind of explains. So I told you I have a bachelor's and master's in computer science. I had been working in the tech field for a very long time. I started as a developer, but back when I was a developer, because I am pretty old, when I was a developer, we didn't have all those. I didn't have my GitHub and all that anymore. I had now moved more into like the management field. So I was doing more like program management. I was a COO. So again, I had evidence showing like my involvement in the company. And then I don't post on social media, but my LinkedIn was up to date. And then I had references on my LinkedIn. And you could eventually also kind of see the ties between myself and the people that kind of referred me. So um, now I think with global talent, they've kind of opened up the various qualifications or type. But I think back then when I applied, maybe it was like I can't remember if it was like product or if it was maybe IT business owner. I don't remember for sure. Because now I think there's so many. There's like project, there's product design, there's a lot
There's product
more.
management.
Yeah,
Yes,
they didn't
yes.
have project management when I applied in 2022. So my application process started, I think I've got my endorsement March 11th, 2022, and then finally got like the visa in April. So I'll kind of walk you through first your personal statement. And what I'm going to do after this call is I'll put a folder on Google Drive. In Google Drive, I'll give you a sample of what a personal statement is supposed to look like, what your reference letter is supposed to look like, and I'll walk you through my evidence. But again, that's why Veronica is doing this session. If you don't have a technical background or um, you don't have the technical evidence, you can get that through her program, right? By taking some courses. So you can essentially continue to build that, right? And I beg you, if you're really nervous, that's why you need to work with a solicitor. And I did that even though I had all my documentation. So I will highly recommend you to try that route because that's what I did. So I had my personal statement and then I had reference letters. So you need to have three reference letters. And the people that give you the reference letters also have to be willing to share their CVs because they will go online, they will check as well. So I had three people. I had one person I worked with. So my background was I worked in the States for technology companies one called Booz Allen. I worked for IBM for 10 years. And then I moved to Nigeria and worked for a company called Andela. And then I worked for a Nigerian fintech startup, which eventually moved to the UK. That was how I got my first visa. So I had one of the letters, my reference letters from the person I reported to, who was a chief information officer at Andela. Um, and he wrote one of my reference letters so that you can see somebody named Lisby here, and he just kind of and this tracker is what I'll show you. I'll give you obviously I can't give you my actual content, but I can show you what you
Just a
need to do.
template where she's
Yeah,
going to share a template, not her actual, yeah.
yeah. So I had three people. So a CIO wrote one for me. Then the other person was very senior in one of the switches in Nigeria. He wrote one for me because we had worked together. And then my mentor, actually were one for me. So Lisby is based in the US, but he did work in Nigeria. Aminu is Nigeria, but he went to school in the UK, has a lot of experience and background, very senior individual. He also wrote me a letter. Wambui is Kenyan, but as you can see from her name, she's also something very senior in the tech space in Kenya. Again, she was my mentor, kind of just wrote about her experience about me. So I got those letters, I included their CV, that was part of my package.
Well, in total, sorry to cut you, just so that people, in total, how many endorsements or references did you pull
You need
together?
3.
3, right? Okay, because
Yeah, so
it seems like you mentioned more than 3 there.
no, it was just Lisby, Amino, and Wambui. So
Okay,
just 3.
okay, 3.
Yeah, so if I go here, where is the other tracker? So you need recommendation letters, 3.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Chimizi mentioned. Okay, cool.
Yeah, okay. And then you now need what you call supporting documents. And this is where people start. So this is what starts to trip you out. So supporting ones, I think supporting 2 of them were actually additional letters, actually. So there were 10 pieces of supporting evidence I needed to provide. 2 out of them were actually personal references as well, kind of talking about their experience with me in some of the work I did and why they considered me exceptional talent. So I had 2 other people give me references. So in total, I had 5 references. 3 of them were references, but 2 of them were almost like supporting documentation. Okay. The third one was I had co-founded a very small startup. And we were pretty much just processing transactions. So they needed to see that. So I, gave them our code base and kind of showed bank accounts showing, look, we actually process these transactions. So I utilized that as well. Then the fourth supporting document, I had worked for a tech company. This was the second startup I worked in Nigeria. And I was involved with them when they were doing their second round of fundraising. I had pretty much helped the company get to that level where they get the fundraising. It was a pretty significant amount. I think it was like 20 million. We raised 20 million US dollars. So I included that ARCA deal sheet in there. Now, the deal sheet, they needed obviously to see my name on the deal sheet to see that I was part of the business, like the business that actually showed me in there. So that was on there as well. And again, I said, please don't worry too much. I applied on the exceptional talent route. Like Chimeze mentioned, there is exceptional promise and you can do that, okay? I always believe in thinking positively. As long as you do your homework and you get support, you have Veronica here to help you, you have Chimeze ready to help you, and I will also share some of the sample documents I have in a folder on Google Drive for you to access. The fifth supporting document, so the first one was the deal sheet I mentioned, just kind of showing the amount. The second one was key information, also part of that deal. It also showed me in the pitch deck. That was that. It was funny because in my supporting document, I now started to run out of ideas. I was like, I don't know what else because, like Chimenza said, if you are someone, I don't write articles. I think there was some article that they had put on me at one point. It was actually in an American publication. And I think I messaged them and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to be on social media. Can you remove me? During this time, I was like, God, I wish I didn't do that. But anyway, I now remembered I had done some teaching. I used to teach computer science courses at my alma mater in the States. So I asked them to write a reference letter for me. The person actually also happened to be one of the people that actually taught me computer science while I was in school. So she gladly wrote a letter and I included that as well. Then I also included audited documents just showing the value of the company I worked at that essentially got the deal so that they have more details. Then the ninth supporting document was again, and this is all one company. So from my supporting evidence from 5 and 9 were all just one company, that the company I was telling you about. I also included their audited finances for them to actually see that the company was doing well based on the innovation. And then 9 was a little bit more detail about what exactly did the business do so that they could understand it. Then the last one, when I worked at IBM, I think I had worked on a significant, because I had worked on very large value projects, right? I think when I was at IBM, I was a project manager. I was a senior project manager. So I had worked on very high value US projects that were actually in the newspaper. But my name wasn't in there, but I worked on it. So I managed to find the article saying that IBM actually won those contracts. And I managed to get my managers that actually reported to, thank goodness I had a good relationship with them. They wrote my reference letter and saying, yes, she worked on this project and this was her role. So I included that in one PDF. I pretty much just took screenshots of the reference letters from all my managers that said I worked on the project. And then I now took the newspaper articles of the projects I worked on that were really large and put that on there. And then I think I took screenshots of references people gave me on LinkedIn and included that there as well. So those were my supporting evidence.
That felt
How
like a
long did
lot.
it? Yeah, it is a lot,
It's
right?
a lot.
And for me, I said to me, like, what is the price of your freedom?
Uh-huh.
That is what I call it, right? Because I came here on a visa, and as much as I really enjoyed working for that company, I didn't want to be shackled,
Mm,
right? Like it was a startup and they could run out of funds at any time. So I might not have had the same experience people are having with this whole, do I have enough hours of cost? But if that startup ran out of money, my visa would be canceled. I had moved my entire family. So I needed to break the shackle. So I call it the price of freedom. So was it the price of freedom worth it for me? Absolutely. So I treated this like you would treat a job, pretty
mhm,
much.
mhm.
And I think one of the things I would recommend is I think my solicitor actually even gave me like sample reference letter. Like I wrote the reference letters for my for the people I asked because people are busy. People don't have time for you. Like I mean, no matter how much they like you, you want to make their work as easy as possible. So
Yeah,
I wrote the letter, I emailed them, I said, look, if there's anything you want to change, please feel free. But I just want to make it as easy as possible. So
yeah.
I would say start early, do a lot of research, be positive,
Mm.
say things like I am going to get this whole thing.
Yeah, I think,
On people that got it.
sorry, just on
Yeah.
that note, because somebody that went through Sterling wanted to apply, I didn't even know so much about it then, and it was like, oh, can you write me a reference and all of that? And I just said to him, I don't have time. You go and, go and create that, write it, and all I'll do is sign it, and then he said, oh, can I have your CV? I just had a few things that I shared with him. All he did was he was part of the one of the cohorts that we had 2 years ago, and I believe that's kind of what he used. So if you really want it, if you have to go and create a template and just send it to whosoever, do that by all means, rather than waiting for them to do it. But yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree because what is going to hold you up is actually getting those reference letters, right? So
Mhm.
if you do all the work, it makes it very easy for people.
Yeah.
And then what else was I going to say that I think might be valuable? I created my talking points here. But yeah, one of the ma major things for me is just having that, knowing that I don't have to. So it's funny, myself and Veronica were chatting during this time, during while Chimeza was talking, and I told her I resigned from a job. I couldn't have done that if I didn't have my global talent, right? Because they would have sponsored me, and I'm like shackled. It's almost like being in prison. So I call it modern day slavery. I'm like, I don't want that. Like, I want to be free to move around any company I want as I see fit. Another thing I think you should also know, because I think a lot of people are here in the UK. I did apply, I had my current visa was for 3 years, right? And I think I had maybe like 8 months or something left there. I actually got refunded some of the values from the NHS surcharge. So a family of four. So that's a good thing. It took a very long time. It took like 6 months. So yes, essentially you'll be paying for your visa again, and all those NHS surcharges. But I say value of how much can you put a price on your freedom? I couldn't. I was ready to be free, so I made sure I made it work. But that's pretty much it for me. Veronica, I'm going to pass it on to you, but I will make sure that I share all these samples with everyone. Again, they'll be cleaned out. They won't have my personal information, but they should be able to help you kind of put your documentation together as well.
Thank you
So
so
good
much.
luck and be
Thank
positive.
you. Thank you so much for sharing. This is amazing. Not a lot of people will be
Nice one,
able.
Sulia. This one makes sense. Gone.
So what we will try to do is once all of this is cleaned up, we will share via email the ones that we can share for free, to your emails, those who have registered. So thank you very much. I just want to say that it seemed like that was a lot, that she pulled together. But like she said, she applied for the exceptional talent. So of course, she had to demonstrate that she was an exceptional talent. But then there is the other route where is the
Promise.
is it exceptional promise? So it's more like you're working towards, developing the applicable skills, which I believe Chimeze has already shared in the group chat. So you don't feel like, oh, it's daunting and it's a lot. But like she has said, it's more like the price of freedom. So you've got to, it's like a job in itself. But once you do it right, you would benefit from it. Yeah, so I think this has been useful. There are questions in the chat which I believe has been answered. Yes, we will share the Global Talent Tracker template at some point. Academics can apply via not the digital tech. So there is a research institute route, I think it is. So yes, you can apply via that route. But today we are looking at the digital tech route. And that's purely because Sterling Tech, we are about, enabling people through skills development, some of our skills development programs that we run. Now, the list that has been shared is quite a long list, and we can't say that we offer programs, in all those areas. But there are a few programs that one we are looking at launching. So things around product management, UX, UI design, full stack development. So these are things that are in the pipeline for 2025 as well. So yes, project management is maybe not, I don't know how much weight it will hold, but I guess it just depends on how you are able to tailor it and stuff like that. But I guess as we round up, if you want to know more about, how you can be a part of our programs are paid programs. We're not a charity, so unfortunately, we don't run these programs for free. If we had government funding, maybe we would. And so our programs are paid. And so what we will ask you to do, I don't know if we have any of our staff, Trevor, if you're here, you can book a call, if you want to ask questions more about joining any of our programs. So maybe you don't have this background just yet, and you're in the UK and you're tired of the whole no shift versus shift, running around for COS and stuff like that, and you want to shift, but of course, you know that you've got to work on developing the portfolio, developing the relevant skills to make you, someone that has the promise of an exceptional, of a talent that would add value to the digital tech space within the UK. And again, these things will not take too long. So you could give yourself a timeline to say maybe between the next 4 to 6 months, I want to begin to work on developing, these skills so that I can switch from where you are currently into applying for the Global Talent Visa by the digital tech route, which is the reason why we have put this webinar together. So if that is you and you want to explore, Trevor, I don't know if you can pop in the chat our email, so you can send us an email. I don't know if we've got the book a call link. If you can just drop that in the chat, send us an email, or you can actually respond to the email you would have received. So send us an email, and we can, of course, take it from there. So we are launching a few of these programs which you can leverage, and you can tell yourself that, okay, I'm going to give myself the next 6 months to pick up these skills that would enable me to apply for the Global Talent Visa so that you can switch routes from wherever it is that you are today. And all the things that we have promised, we will share. Now, if you if you're an exceptional talent and you think you've got all the requirements and evidence and proof, and all you need is a lawyer to support, you can also have Mr. Chimeze, who is the chairman of Milton and Cross. He can guide you as well. But like I said, it's not for free. Yeah, so that is something that you can also take advantage of. Chimeze, I don't know if you have your details to pop in the chat for those who want to.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, if you want to reach out for legal advice and guidance and support, especially if you already have these things and you just need someone to guide you on how to put everything together, the entire process, you can talk to Chimeze. I'm sure he'll tell you what his rates are. But hopefully, because you have been on this webinar today, you might get some discount. We'll discuss that at some point. But you can just say, "Hey, I was at the webinar, and I would like to, to see if you can, offer this service." For me to apply. So I hope this has been useful. I just felt like, yeah, so Chimeze has put his details in the chat. If you would like to make contact with
But I have to be clear, I don't do magic.
him.
Some people will come and expect, I don't do magic, I don't forge documents, I don't
That's
concoct
good.
documents.
Yes. It's
So we
guidance.
have I have to be sincere. Some people come with
Expectations.
unrealistic expectations.
Yeah. Yeah,
If
exactly.
you have any serious immigration issue prior to now, and you
Yeah.
now come and show him global talent, you might have a problem. It's always good to be sincere and be honest in all your documentation.
Of course, that's noted. So Chimeze's number is in the chat. His email is in the chat. If you think you need a one-to-one, please go ahead and copy those details and be free to reach out to him. The Sterling Tech details are also in the chat, I believe. Our email address and our WhatsApp number. You can reach out if you want to develop skills, digital tech skills, in order for you to be prepared to apply for the Global Talent Visa, maybe by mid 2025, because our programs run for 6 months. So, for example, if you join a program in February, March, within the next, say, 6 months or so, in fact, before that time, we can start working on getting your portfolio together. And so Leah said she would send a folder so we can email it to all of you. So if it's something that you want to get onto any of our programs within 4 to 6 months, where our February starts in a few weeks. So just let us know, be in touch with us, send us an email, send us a phone, give us a call or an SMS, and we'll be more than happy to jump on a call and talk through with you so that you can join any of our programs. And then, of course, we will give you the reference, the endorsement from all the projects that you would have worked on within Sterling Tech, which of course will count towards your evidence and proof of skills, as it were. So yeah, thank you all for joining, and hopefully you take some things away to ponder on and to do further research. And we wish you a very good rest of the weekend. Thank you, Chimeze. Thank you for Suliat for sharing, and
You're welcome.
enjoy your evening. Thank you, everyone.